Now, Isaiah Sharp with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Happy Friday to you, Idaho. Hope you're enjoying the first day of spring and this lovely Friday. I started my day off with a nice walk and take a look. The cherry blossoms looking stunning over in the north end. And hey, if you look really closely, you might see a couple of pollinators out there on top of that too. Great conditions, absolutely beautiful skies on top of that as well. And those are going to be continuing as we head into this weekend too. But man, we got to talk about the record-breaking heat that we have been experiencing. Wednesday saw a record of 6 degrees broken from 1910 was the last time we saw temperatures like this. Thursday, we tied a record. Today, 81, the warmest that we've seen in the Treasure Valley region. National Weather Service says we've been flirting with 82 degrees just over the last about 15 minutes or so, but I'm going to sit at an 81 right now. Maybe at the 6 o'clock, we might have an updated score on that. But yeah, still really impressive conditions to end winter and to start the spring month. Yeah, it's been an abnormal winter up to this point. Conditions have not felt so winter-like. We've had very dry conditions, very warm temperatures on top of that too. Today's going to feel like that as well, almost breaking into the 60s once again, but we're finally starting to see that shift, and you can notice it in the Pacific Northwest with the temperatures they're going to be getting today. 40s expected almost across the board, and very cool conditions are going to roll in very soon afterwards as we're finally going to start to get that winter weather on the way, and it's showing up in our advisories as well. Heading into tonight around 8 o'clock, we do have winter weather advisories expected for a majority of our mountain ranges in the central mountains. The Owahis, thank goodness, especially for the snowpack, is going to be under a winter weather advisory. Most of this is expected to last until Tuesday morning, but at least we're starting to see a little bit of winter weather, and it arrives heading into tonight. Clear conditions expected for the daytime, but it rolls on in as the afternoon arrives. Going to see some showers up into the mountain ranges in the form of snow, which they desperately need. Rain expected for the valley floors as those temperatures are going to be dropping immediately. So Monday, I'm not seeing too much activity for today. Tuesday, though, that's a little bit of a different story, as we could see potentially trace amounts into the morning time, and that's going to be stacked up over a couple of days. So yes, under a half an inch is expected per day moving on in, but you add Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday, and you might start to see a little bit of accumulation here on the valley floors. This is what's expected for the rest of Tuesday, lighter amounts, so let's broaden our horizons a little bit more. Heading into Wednesday, we could see a little bit more activity moving on in, and then going into Wednesday night, there's a couple more showers expected in the form of snow. But here is that major system that's going to be moving on in, dropping those temperatures. We've been waiting for this guy to arrive. He's been sleeping for a majority of this winter, finally starting to bring in the weather we need. There's that snow into the mountains. Rain expected for us, but rain snow mix is going into later tonight as those temperatures start to cool on down, because that cold front is going to draw in some very chilly conditions for us. And it's going to move right over the top of northern Idaho, bringing in some snow heading into Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm expecting Thursday to have some slight activity. Friday is going to be a little bit lighter as we're going to see this start to dissipate, but we're already gearing up for potentially another system to move on in heading into next week. So this could be back-to-back weeks that we start to see some real activity making its way in. And take a look at the snow totals. This is just going into tonight. 7 inches up at Bogus Basin, 6 inches expected over at Tamarack, 7 expected for McCall on top of that too, and it just continues to grow heading into this Friday. Potentially could see going into next week over 2 feet of snow over the top Bogus Basin. Skiers and snowboarders rejoice. We've been waiting for this one to arrive. Temperatures expected across the board into the 30s for the Magic Valley region. Those chances of snow start to lighten up heading into next weekend. Treasure Valley region, we're going to be sitting into the 30s as well Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as winter weather finally arrives here in Idaho. We're expecting those showers to continue on until the weekend comes. Temperatures just under 60 degrees right now. A little bit of wind making its way into Idaho because of that low pressure system that passed through, brought in all those showers. The tail end of that system is kind of whipping in some wind into the area, but it's bringing some nice dry skies. People enjoying all the dry conditions out of the village and Meridian. And we'll talk more about the dry conditions that are on the way, but we just experienced one of the more historic months when it comes to 2026. This was the wettest April ever recorded. That recording goes back to 1877 that we saw, and it was impressive. All of that thunderstorm activity and all all of that rain that came on through. The Boise region recording 3.87 inches had fallen in value, and the average sitting at about 1.23. So that's more than triple the amount of normal rain that we see this time of month, coming off of one of the more historic winters that we saw, one of the warmest since 1934. And then April just decided to flip the switch and say, hey, we are going to add a lot of rain on top of this too. We're still sitting in a drought, at least when it comes to snow. Those reservoirs are looking really nice, but we still are struggling with that snowpack. Want to highlight that key point.